Abandoned homes, uninhabitable, no longer worth refurbishing. This was once part of a thriving village. Now, it resembles a ghost town. I'm on the Madeira River, a mighty tributary of the Amazon in northern Brazil. Along its banks, I meet Francisco de Souza, a canoe builder who has lived here for nearly 30 years. A few months ago, he and some other 600 villagers were forced to flee their homes. The river washed away nearly everything they had. He tells me his plot of land once extended all the way to this point with lots of trees around. He used to work in the shade they provided. Now rocks are all that's left. De Souza has a bird's eye view of the nearby hydroelectric dam. He firmly believes it is the source of his misery. Since the first of this year, the Madeira has been channeled through the locks and turbines of this massive dam. It's an important energy provider, powering Brazil's vibrant and expanding economy. It generates electricity for some 40 million homes. 4 turbines are turning presently. Eventually, another 44 will go online. Santo Antonio Energia is the company that runs the dam. It has made repeated assurances that the dam poses no risk to the environment nor to the people living nearby. The person in charge of sustainability voices a commitment to the reforestation. I want to know why Brazil has put so much emphasis on hydroelectric energy. Alexandre Quieiros tells me that hydroelectric power is environmentally friendly. He admits that natural habitats have been altered as a result, but repeats that energy production is clean. I will try to find out for myself whether hydroelectric power is truly as clean and benign as the company says. Porto Velho lies just 7 kilometers downstream from the dam. I meet again with Francisco de Souza. He tells me that since the power plant went into production, crews have reinforced the riverbanks with these massive stones. Talk of clean energy makes de Souza angry. He tells me he's no engineer, but has spent his entire life on the banks of the river. He contends that he understands it better than the experts, who have never fully experienced a river like this one. De Souza says the Madeira has a strong current and carries a lot of detritus and sand. Now it has destroyed our homes and property, and the electric dam is to blame. They deny the fact, but it's clearly the case. Things like this have never happened before. Residents have been living in temporary shelters for months, paid for by the electric company. Officially, it refutes all blame for the flooding. This young man says he can't remember that the river ever swept away more than 50 fully grown trees. He adds they want to convince us that it's a natural phenomenon. If that were so, the water would have destroyed our property every year. Yet the company maintains it's not responsible. De Souza says the energy provider has embarked on a PR campaign. These brochures point out how it refurbished homes damaged by high water. The boat builder says the photographs have been manipulated. It would seem the extensive flooding belies the claims of clean, safe energy production. I ask Alexandre Quieiros whether the dam poses an existential risk to the people who live along the banks of the Madeira. His answer is surprisingly direct. He says it took time for the project manager to gain an overview of the problem and deliver a report. He adds that computer models take into account the effects of the dam only for 1 kilometer downstream. That's why the situation further away was not anticipated and why there was no quick response. I drive upriver to look at the man-made lake created by the dam. The water is rising relentlessly. The mandated level was reached long ago. I meet with villagers forced to resettle because of the dam. The signs are there to get the residents used to life in civilization. Santo Antonio and Aguillo built these homes, but many have had to find new livelihoods. Pedro Silva Damasceno used to be a fisherman. Now he's a hairdresser and community spokesman. He tells me their village used to lie near a waterfall that no longer exists. He used to make a good living catching and selling fish. Now he's reduced to cutting hair to eke out a meager living for his family. There's not much opportunity here. The soil won't support crops. The villagers feel they've been betrayed. We don't even receive free electricity. We lost our homes, our identities for the good of the country, for progress. But my electric bill has risen astronomically. We do what we can to reduce energy use, so our monthly bill is around 100 reals. We sacrificed everything to make the companies rich. The provider is contracted to run the dam for 30 years. High-tension lines crisscross the countryside. The energy produced here flows mainly to the industrialized south of the country. The locals have seen little benefit. I take a boat ride with Raimundo Bacelar and Heleno dos Santos. At first glance, this is a place of overwhelming natural beauty. But along the banks, evidence of how much destruction the lake has caused. Felled trees lie rotting on the banks. A massive area is now underwater. I want to know how this region used to look before the dam and the lake. Heleno dos Santos says the riverbed used to be right below us. Everything else was forested. They show me their former fish ponds. The pools have been empty for 5 months. Before the dam, the river rose during the rainy season and dropped during the dry season. Now it essentially remains stagnant. Raimundo Bacelar says that plant life below the surface is also endangered because there's not enough oxygen in the water. That makes fish farming practically impossible. He says they've already lost an entire crop. As the lake level began rising, things went very fast. The fish were never sick before. There was never a problem. It wasn't like 2 or 3 fish died at first. We could have reacted to that. Suddenly, they were all dead within a very short period of time. When we arrived, the ponds were full of dead fish floating on the surface. They lost 80 tons of fish. The 2 businessmen have no idea how to recoup their losses. Most fishermen agree the catches have dropped dramatically since the dam created this lake. The Madeira River is considered one of the richest sources of fish in the Amazon region. Some breeds swim over 5,000 kilometers upstream to spawn in Bolivia. Now they must negotiate the artificial waterways to get past the dam. Santo Antonio and Aguillo says it has the answer. We're studying the kinds of fish that swim up our fish ladders. From what we've seen so far, the traffic has been surprisingly high. A wide variety of fish make use of the ladders, including the bigger species. And these are the fish ladders. They went into operation at the beginning of the year, along with the dam. They simulate rapids and are especially designed to attract fish. It's the only chance the fish have to swim upstream. But renowned Amazon expert Philip Fernside says many species of fish will never find the ladders. I meet with him in Porto Viejo. He has spent years studying the effects of hydroelectric dams on tropical ecosystems. Fernside believes that fish populations in the Madeira River will continue to decline. I seek his opinion on the claims of the Brazilian government and the energy provider that the dam's environmental impact is minimal. It's true that no oxygen is reaching the deeper levels. That means roots and leaves are rotting and won't be converted to CO2 because they don't have access to oxygen. Instead, they convert to methane. Measured per ton, methane is a far greater contributor to the greenhouse effect. Methane bubbles to the surface and is also released when the water rushes through the turbines. No one takes this into account, but it's a major component of the greenhouse effect. There is nothing green about hydroelectric energy. Still, Brazil continues its commitment to hydroelectric power. More than 30 dams are slated for construction in the Amazon region alone. Clean, environmentally friendly energy.